Hi, welcome to the Guitar Department. I'm your host, Joe Alton. On today's episode, we're going to talk about how to play Beat It by Michael Jackson, both the Steve Lukather parts and the Eddie Van Halen solo. Also, we've got Steffen Poulsen from the Crust Band here. Be sure to stay tuned, man. It's going to be a really good show. The song Beat It by Michael Jackson features two prominent 80s guitar players. First, we have Steve Lukather, who was the guitar player for Toto at the time and did a lot of studio work for other artists in the 80s. And then, of course, the solo featured the one and only Eddie Van Halen. We're going to start by learning all of the Steve Lukather parts, and then we're going to bring in somebody special for the solo. So here's how it begins. We are tuned into E-flat standard tuning. So our top string, 6th string, is E-flat. Then we've got A-flat for the A string, D-flat, G-flat, B-flat, and E-flat again. So from there, the riff is actually pretty straightforward. We're going to start with 0 on the top string, go to the 3rd fret on the 6th string, come down a string and go to the 2nd fret, and then you're going to jump to the 5th fret of the 4th string. So you're changing strings again, and then down to 2. So again, that whole thing again, 0, 3, 2, 5, 2. It's a bit of a stretch to get that pinky out there, but it's nothing too bad if you got your position proper. From there, we're going to play 4, 2, 0, 0 on the 4th string. But you're not just going to land on that first 4. You're going to either hammer onto it or slide into it. You can see they both have similar sounds. Either one of them will work. So that's the first time through. The second time through, you're going to do the same lick, but with only 1 0 at the end. Just like that. Then that whole thing plays through again. So here is the entire opening lick. And then as that plays through a second time, Steve Lukather adds a second part over top of it. And so what I'm doing there is I've got the 7th fret of the 3rd string and the 8th fret of the 2nd string. You're going to play them once and then play them a second time and slide them down to 4 and 5 on the same strings. Then bring both fingers back to 6 and 7, and you're going to bring them all the way down to 2 and 3. And the other element to this is the string scraping that's happening on the right hand and the mutes that are happening on the left hand. So kind of a complicated technique. Make sure you get the notes down first. That's the important part. The thing you add on top of it is called a string scrape. And you're going to basically keep your fingers in position for the 7 and the 8 and mute the other strings, all of the strings, including those two. Sort of like that. So it's all about keeping those other strings from ringing out. You can sort of resign your string scraping to the bottom 3 strings. That'll help you out a little bit. And then that happens a second time, and then we move into the verse. And the verse is actually really pretty straightforward. We're going to play an E power chord, 7th fret of the 5th string, 9th fret of the 4th string. And that moves down to 5 and 7. But what we're going to do is fatten it up just a little bit. We're going to cover the 6th string also. So we've got 7-7, and we're going to flatten my pinky out a little bit, so we're going to play 9-9. What that actually does is it gives us 2 octaves of each of the notes. So it's like we're playing the power chords twice over. And then move that down to a D power chord on 5 and 7. Do that a second time. Down to a C power chord on 3 and 5. Back to 5 and 7. And then one more time, 7 and 9 to 5-7. The rhythm here, by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's the entire verse for the song Beat It. The only other part to the song is right before the solo. I think they refer to it in the music as the breakdown or the bridge, or it doesn't really matter. It's only an E power chord, a low E power chord this time. So your top string with 0 and your 5th string with a 2. The trick to this is muting the strings in between the rhythm so they don't just ring. You want them, notice the left hand cupping, the right hand hitting the strings. And that's how you play Beat It by Michael Jackson. All right, we're back, and we're going to learn the solo to Beat It. Now, of course, I can play the Beat It solo. I mean, but just for good measure, I brought in somebody who might know it a little bit better. Please welcome Steffen Poulsen. How are you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Good. So you're going to show us the solo.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'll do a quick run through of it.
Here, I'll play the rhythm part for you.
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Something like that, at least.
All right,
yeah.
That was pretty good. I think that was good. You guys think that was good? They're not here. So, run me through what you just did. This solo I always thought was kind of cool because it's one of those solos that's not just note after note after note. This 30-second long phrase. It's a couple of phrases, which Eddie was really good about, having like a technique, and then he'd move on to something else and a little melodic device. Run me through what you just did.
Yeah, so this solo is, in my opinion, the hardest solo I've ever learned, probably. And there's a lot of series of dive bombs, tapping, artificial harmonics, which he does in like Mean Street, where you actually tap onto the fret. And yeah, he does a lot of series of those, so it may get confusing throughout, so stick with me.
Gonna be a lot of technique here.
Yeah. So he starts out coming up on a dive bomb on the 4th fret, like this. And then he slides up to the 7th fret, and then he does an artificial harmonic on the 14th fret, like this. And then he slides up to the 9th and hits another artificial harmonic right there, so like this.
That's still on 14?
Yeah. So.
And that's all on the 3rd string?
Yeah, all on the G
string.
string. Yeah. And then you move over to do some tapping. You're going to need your pointer, your middle, and your pinky on your left hand, and then your pointer on your right. And it's going to be on the 10th fret, 12th fret, and then the 14th fret with your left hand. And then with your right hand, you're going to tap the 15th fret. And this is all on the high E string, like this. And then you're going to do the exact same tapping and fingering, but move it down to the B string like this. So
wait, before you go on, that pattern, just all the way down and back, right?
Yeah.
And then just...
Yeah.
Like that. Okay,
like
easy
that.
enough.
And then
Easy enough.
when you get done with the B string tapping, you're gonna just hit the 12th and 13th, do a hammer on and pull off like this on the B string. So together that's like that.
Okay.
And then here comes, in my opinion, the hardest part of the solo. And there's a great video on YouTube by this guy named Cameron Cooper who really dives deep into how to do it. I couldn't figure it out, so I finally gave up and watched a video.
No shame in that. Let's be clear. There's no shame in watching a video.
And so it's stick with me here. It's a big series of hammer-ons and pull-offs.
Ooh, look at that.
So you really got to stretch your hand out. So you're gonna have your pointer on the 12th fret of the B string, and then your middle on the 15th fret of the B string, and then your pinky on the, I believe, the 19th fret of the the B string, like that.
At all.
And you just strike it once. It's a series of hammer-ons.
Okay.
But then he alternates between the strings, so you do the exact same thing on the E string. So just like that. And then you do a series of pull-offs back down to the 12th fret on the E string. So, and then you hammer back onto the 15th fret of the E string like this. So, yeah, all together it's that, and then you pull off again back onto the 12th. It's very confusing, but so. And then you're gonna move back over to the B string, to the 19th fret. So, and then you're gonna alternate back to the E, and it's a series of hammer-on and pull-offs. So you start 12th fret, pointer finger on the B string, middle finger on the 15th fret of the B string, pinky on the 19th fret of the B string, and you're going to play that, hammer them all on, and then move over to the E string like this. And then you're going to pull off back down to the 12th, while simultaneously hitting the 15th. So hammer back onto the 15th, pull off onto the 12th, move over to the B and hit the 19th, then hit the 12th of the E again, go back to the 19th of the B, and pull off onto the 15th and then the 12th, and then hammer back onto the 15th, then onto the 19th, back to the 12th of the E, back to the 19th of the B, and then pull off the 15th and the 12th. There's a lot of information there.
Yeah, piece of cake.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's so easy.
You guys got that right.
So and it should.
Let me see you play that sort of mid-speed.
Yeah.
Not slow, but not fast.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
And that's a big stretch.
Yeah,
12 to 19, even up there, that's a big.
Yeah, it hurts my hands.
I don't like it.
I was sitting last night just playing it over and over again. My hands were on fire at the end.
Yeah,
So.
and this is actually something that I've come to appreciate over the years is the use of classical position to carry stuff like this. I don't know if you've done this or not, but you see these players who will do something flashy like this and just, but it's actually functional. Because if you're holding a guitar like this, it's easier to make those stretches. You can see I can reach all the way, what is that, 21? I don't know if I would ever use that, but it makes it a lot easier. So if you're struggling, if you have it over here, and you can see right away that's actually a lot harder for me to do. You can see what my wrist is doing. If I move this up, my wrist can be straight, and I can carry that line a little bit easier. Not easily, but a little bit easier.
Yeah, and when I was practicing it last night, I was practicing like that just to try and keep my hand comfortable. So,
awesome.
You know, but after a while, if you practice it enough, your hands get used to it, and your hands don't hurt as much. But yeah, that's the big part of the solo, the hardest part for sure. And then it doesn't get easier.
Yeah.
But
and this next part always struck me as one of the most Eddie parts of the solo because it doesn't musically make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
In terms of the harmonies that he's playing, but he plays it so expressively.
Yeah.
And it's such an Eddie lick that you can just get away with it if you're him.
Yeah. So you do the whole stretch like that. And then you just do a couple bends. You bend you're back onto the G string. You bend on the 14th fret. Pull off onto the 12th, and then bend up on the 15th of the B string, like that. So, and then you're gonna swipe with your pick on the string, bend onto the 14th of the G, and then you're gonna pull off onto the 12th, and then let go and dive bump. There's a lot going on there.
There is, yeah. That little pick thing was pretty cool too. So this is something that if you're playing on a guitar like this, you have to make sure that you're on your bridge pickup. Because if you go like that, it's just not going to make any sound. Now, it's not making any sound for me because I have my guitar turned down to not try and have feedback. But if I have that on my bridge or my neck pickup, you just don't really hear it. But if it's on the bridge, then you can hear it a little bit better. So that's an important detail.
Yeah, it's all over.
Now you only have a bridge pickup.
Yeah, I got Eddie's guitar here, so
and
he only used a bridge and a volume.
Yeah,
so.
the Frankie doesn't have. That's a dummy pickup in the.
Yeah, it is. You can do a mod on it though. Make this a push pull.
Sure.
And then you can go between pickups. This actually works. It's just not wired up.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so you do the stretch lick and then the couple bends. So. And then a dive bomb. So next you're going to go down to the 9th fret of the G string and you're going to do a pinch harmonic and bend simultaneously like this. And then pull off onto the 7th of the G and then hammer back onto the 9th. And then you're going to push down on the whammy bar like this. And pull off back onto the 7th, so like this. So if you're going from the bends, it's going to be like this. And then you can slide down like that. And then you're going to move over to the 3rd and 5th frets of the B string. And you're going to do a series of pull-offs and hammer-ons like this. And then while you're doing that, you're going to, every time you hit the 5th fret, you're going to bend on the whammy bar. So. And then you're going to move to the 2nd fret of the G, bend up, and hit another pinch harmonic. So like this. So it gets really high even though you're super down low on the neck.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do those bends and everything I just taught you all together real quick. So. Like that. And then now the solo's starting to, you're doing stuff you didn't already learn before. So it's kind of relaxing for your hand. You move back up and do a couple more bends. So
a little blues lick.
Yeah, so you're going to bend up on the 15th of the B string, pull off onto the 12th, and then bend on the 15th of the E, and then pull off, and then bend onto the G on the 14th fret. What's up? And then pull off onto the 12th, and then hammer back onto the 14. So yeah. And then you're on the home stretch now. There's a little bit of tapping you got to do, but nothing too crazy. Just the only hard part of it really is alternating between the strings.
I was gonna say there was a string change in there too.
So you're gonna put your pointer on the 10th, not the 10th, sorry, the 8th fret of the B string, your pinky on the 12th, and then your pointer on the, I believe, 17th fret of the B string like this. Kind of like if you have ever played Eruption, you know. Kind of like that, but so you're gonna do that on the B string, and then you're also gonna do it on the E string back and forth like this. Whoops, sorry, wrong place. I just realized I taught that whole part wrong. Sorry. We're gonna have to do that again. Okay. So, moving over to the.
So again, I just say next we're going to head and then.
Yeah, I'm gonna move to the tapping. I was just showing the wrong fret. There we go. That sounds better.
10. It's 8, 12, and 15.
8, 12,
right?
15.
Okay,
yeah.
that's easy enough.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So now we're gonna go on to another tapping portion, where you're gonna be on the 8 with your pointer, the 12 with your pinky, and the 15 with your right pointer on the B string like this. And then you're going to alternate on those same frets between the B and the E like this. So if you want to try
And
that.
so, yeah, so you have your pointer flattened across both strings, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of the key to this, isn't it? And then sort of like that.
Yeah.
Sort of like that. That's, I mean, obviously.
Yeah. So you're gonna do that. And then you're gonna slide your pointer on the high E up to the 10th fret. And you're gonna move your right up to the 17th of the E, like this. And you're just gonna tap with it, so. And then now you're really on the home stretch.
Yeah, this is the tremolo part.
Yeah, you gotta do some tremolo picking here. And you're gonna do a double stop on the 15th of the B, and while simultaneously hitting the 12th of the E, so like this. And then just tremolo up to the 14th, 15th, 17th, 19th, and then the 22nd, and bend up to the E. So like that. And then up the tempo will be like this. And then do a pick slide at the end. So
awesome.
I believe that's the whole solo.
I think that is the whole solo. You can see why they brought in Eddie to do this, too.
Yeah, and
Steve Lukather's great, but I don't know if he would have done that.
and Eddie just did it off the fly, just off the cuff.
Yep, that's what they say.
It's one of the hardest solos I've ever learned. He just came up with it in 2 seconds.
And
so.
what's great is that he probably only had to play it the one time, and now the rest of us get to spend the rest of our lives figuring
trying to
out
figure
how
it
he
out.
did it.
Yeah.
Steffen, thank you for being here, man.
Yeah,
You guys
thanks
stick
for
around, do
having
an
me.
interview with us real quick, and then jam out a little bit for us?
Sweet, yeah.
Awesome,
I'm
man.
down.
It's Steffen Poulsen, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
And we're back, and Steffen, thank you a lot for showing us that solo.
No problem.
That was really cool. I hope you guys learned something out of it, and we got a lot to talk about, but I want to start with that guitar. I hear that, first of all, you got a couple signatures on it.
Yeah, I got Steve Vai. I saw him back in November at Hoyt Sherman Place, and then John Five right here. Saw him summer of 2021 at Lefties. Both awesome, phenomenal shows.
Yeah, no, those guys are fantastic, both of them. John Five's in Motley Crue now.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun, have him out there rocking out with those guys. So I mean, none of this is stock. You got you said this is just tape, right?
Yeah, this is, all the stripes are just tape because I felt like it. The paint job felt empty, so.
What was this originally? What model of Jackson was it?
It was just just your standard shop dinky Jackson.
Okay.
It had 2 Duncan design pickups in it, and it still has the neck one, which isn't wired up at all. It's right now. It's just my bridge straight to the volume and tone. And then I replaced the Duncan design with a DiMarzio Super Distortion to get that classic sound.
Yeah.
And it's just a classic pickup to have.
And that's a real Floyd too, isn't it? It's not that's awesome.
And then
hardware.
Yeah, it used to be all black hardware, but I wanted to make it a little bit more flashy, so I put all gold hardware on it with the one tuning peg that's gold. But
was that a choice, or was that like I need a replacement?
Well, it was a replacement, and I found a black one. I saw this gold one. I was like, it'd be kind of silly to have one gold one. So
it is a bit silly.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. It matches your hair.
Yeah.
All right, so the guitar is fantastic. You're obviously a great player. Tell me what you got going on. You got a band going.
Yeah, I'm in a band called The Crust. We play locally a lot, sometimes out of town, or I don't think we've played out of state yet, but hopefully someday.
It's coming.
Yeah, I hope so.
So what kind of music you guys play?
Just your classic rock, really. A little more 80s Van Halen oriented, but we go all around. The new music I've been writing has been more Pink Floyd, Nirvana, Beatles inspired, because I also sing and play the drums. So, but my main instrument's the drums, but I just happen to play guitar.
Yeah, and so that's insulting, right? But also, but no, so let's back this up a second. So I met you originally, I taught your sister for a long time, and at Reman's, and you were a drum student.
Yeah.
And I remember watching videos of you, your dad would post stuff about you just drumming, and you were a phenomenal student.
Yeah.
And then you pop up, a couple years later with a guitar, and what happened in the interim? Did you just sort of sit there in your bedroom and just play for nonstop?
Yeah, so I've always kind of played guitar a little bit. I've always known, like,
Right, that stuff's hard enough.
Yeah, just the basic chords. And then I've been playing drums. I've been playing since I was basically born, but by the time that I actually felt like picking up a guitar, I'd been playing drums probably 12 years.
How old were you roughly, do you think?
When I really got into it, I was 14.
Okay.
And then my dad bought me this guitar for my 15th birthday, and that's when I really started to get into it, because it was my first guitar with a Floyd Rose and with a humbucker, because before that I just had a Squier Strat single coil, you know, the basics. And then quarantine hit, you know, COVID hit, and I had nothing to do, and my whole family was in the house, and every time I played a note on the drums, my sisters would start screaming at me for bothering them. So I was like, I guess I'll just play guitar, because I can't play my drums. I want to do something. So then at some point I was probably playing 4 to 5 hours a day, and you know, my days where I'd wake up at 4 p.m., go to bed at 5 a.m., you know. So, but I'd just play throughout the whole day. I'd be on the phone with my friends playing, you know. And that's I really got into Van Halen at that point. That's where I learned all the tapping stuff, you know. And then he's the reason why I discovered all the artificial, I mean, not artificial, the pinch harmonics and the artificials. Yeah, that stuff's super Eddie.
It's very, you can see the influence when you start playing.
Yeah.
So obviously that's led you to become a pretty accomplished guitar player here. You're so thank COVID for that, right?
Yeah, the one good thing that came out for me.
Appreciate something good coming out of it. And then we've got the crust coming out of that.
Yeah.
Where you guys are playing covers, and you got some original stuff coming too.
Yeah, we have some original stuff now too.
You hoping to put out an album sometime?
We do have an EP out on Spotify right now.
Oh, you do? I
Just,
didn't know that.
Just 4 songs.
What's it called?
It's called Dropping Miles, and it's by The Crust. So
Dropping Miles by The Crust.
All streaming platforms. Yeah. And if you come to our shows, we got CDs and T-shirts. So
yeah, merch. And speaking of your shows, we've got one coming up here at the Gas Lamp, right? Tell me about that.
Yeah, we're playing at the Gas Lamp April 14th. I work at Professional Music Center, and the guys at Pro Music decided, hey, let's put a showcase together, and every band that's playing, one will work at Pro Music. Like, one will have a member that works at Pro Music. And they asked me if I wanted to, and I was like, for sure. I've never played at the Gas Lamp, and now it's closing, so I want to get in there before it does, so it works out. And we're playing with the Other Brothers and South 35, 2 great bands, with Eli Clark and then Dave, the owner. Yeah, the owner of Pro Music. I'm hoping to have both of those guys on here soon too. But we're also, Mediacom, our producers, and myself are coming to that show to record at least portions of it, and we'll be airing some of that too. So that'll be fun. You guys out there watching, make sure you go to that. And yeah, it's going to be a really great time. Make sure you bring your A game for that one, right? Yeah. But no, man, we're losing the Gas Lamp. That's really sad. Yeah, it sucks. But it's great that you get to get a show in there before that. Yeah. That'll be a fun show. What else have you got going on? You got any big plans for summer with the band, with the music project? Well, we're gonna be playing at 8035 in the summer. Oh, you are? I didn't know that. We're gonna be on the Iowa stage. Okay. So, we played there last year as well. So on the emerging artist stage. So that'll be fun. And then I'm just gonna gig a lot. And then at the end of the summer, I'm gonna be moving down to Nashville. I'm gonna go to school to become a luthier. So nice. Build my own guitars. That'll be cool. And then I don't have to pay somebody to do it. Yeah. So. Yeah, that'll be a great career move for sure. Yeah. Well, can we do a quick rig rundown? You've got a really awesome amp here, this EVH 5150. This is the PV model, right? The amp head is EVH, but then... Yeah, so the cab that I'm running through is a PV 5150 412. It's an original from 1995. And then right here I have the 5150 Iconic, which gets a lot of hate that I don't understand because I think it sounds great. It sounded amazing to me. Yeah, it's 80 watt. What's the hate on it? A lot of it was people weren't sure about it since they announced it after Eddie passed away. Oh, okay. But it's pretty much your the highest end EVH head. It's pretty much the exact same thing with less knobs. So yeah, it sounds the same, but usually they have the mids and lows for every separate channel. Okay. So, and you just got one global EQ on it. But it sounds great, so I don't get the hate behind it. I suppose my presence was down. That's all right. Yeah, I don't know if anybody noticed that. Yeah. I mean, it sounds great, and this is your multi-effects processor? Line 6 Pod HD 500X. Yeah, my dad bought this forever ago because he plays in our church band, and he hated it. He didn't like playing it, so he gave it to a guy at my church. And then a couple years later, I started picking up guitar, and the guy at my church was like, I don't use it ever, so do you want it back? And I was like, sure, I'll take a pedal board, free pedal board.
It is a lot for a church band, for sure.
Yeah, and the first day I had it, I found all the effects that I wanted out of it, and
Nice.
I've been using it since. So, we got the flanger, not the flanger, the wah right here. And then that's the main thing I use, really. I don't use effects that often when I play.
But
But
so
if
your
I
distortion's coming from this. at
yeah,
this
the
point. It's
distortion's all from the head.
Gotcha.
No additional things. And the reverb's coming from the head too.
Sure.
And then I also got right here, I have my chorus. Just a subtle amount. And then I also have my phaser right here. So for like, it's a lot like Eddie's board. I got a flanger right here, so you can get all the, if you do. Just enough flanger to come through.
Yeah.
And then the other effects are a little confusing. This one's just a pitch modulator, so when we play live, we'll put it down a half step,
Sure.
so then I don't have to tune my guitars,
That's great.
little fun.
I like that. That's really convenient.
Yeah.
Well, the rig sounds great. I love the guitar. I'm excited to see the crust.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'm curious. You guys said you got some original music. We're gonna have to head out here, but can you play us a quick riff from one of your original songs?
Yeah, this one's really 80s inspired. It's called Dropping Miles. It's the main riff. Yeah, that's the opening riff.
That is a very 80s riff. I like it, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, well, April 14th, the Professional Music Showcase, Other Brothers, South 35, The Crust, Steffen Poulsen. Thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
It's fun.
Well, thank you for tuning into the Guitar Department. I've been your host, Joe Alton. I want to thank Steffen Poulsen for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Be sure to check out The Crust, and be sure to check out the Professional Music Showcase April 14th at the Gas Lamp. We're going to be there. I'm going to be there. He's going to be there. You need to be there too. Yeah. I also want to thank Riemann Music for loaning me out this beautiful LTD Viper 256. I love this paint job. Sort of an upgraded LTD Viper. And our Super SD Boss overdrive pedal, which gave us all the tones in the Steve Lukather part of the show. I also want to thank our producer Jackson and our cameraman Matt. And be sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/The Guitar Department and our Instagram page at @guitar_department. And with that, you ready to play us out?
Sure, yeah.